Got him. Got a little bass. Welcome back, everybody. So continuing with our little finesse baits, is this Mr. Marizo, I don't know, mini froggy. It's been a while since we've taken the kayak out, so figured why not, because it's a very, very calm day, and I think it getting closer to dusk, it's supposed to be even more calm. So a perfect time to throw a little mini finesse frog. It's actually got pretty thick gauge hooks, so we'll throw it on our light rod, just because it is super, super light in weight. I don't think we could throw it with a bait caster, but setting the hook with that might be a little tricky. But let's go ahead and get her unpackaged. We'll make some practice casts before we get out in the water. Let's get after it. So this is what it looks like out of the package. Pretty interesting looking little frog. It's got a swivel on the front, not exactly sure why. And a little blade on the back, so should create a little bit of flash. But the biggest thing I'm worried about is that hook gap, which is pretty small, and it's a pretty thick gauge hook, so I don't know if a light rod's gonna do it. But it is a little bit heavier than I thought, so you might be able to get away with like a medium action rod, like a bait caster. But I think a medium heavy would you probably wouldn't really be able to cast this at all. But let's go ahead and make our first cast and see what happens. Oh yeah, you can cast it not too bad. It's not awful. Oh, there's a fish that waked behind it. It's too small from too far away to really tell if it walks or what it does, but we had a little bit of interest at least, so. Yeah, it walks side to side. Yeah, it does. And I assume that blade probably kicks behind it too, so. But oh, you can reel it too. That blade does a pretty good job of turning behind it, so I guess you can reel or walk the dog. Huh. Let's try and reel, see what happens. Oh, reeling, instantly had a fish. I don't know if it sank. It sank. Yeah. Well, that is a good sign. A couple dribbles of water is enough to make it sink. All right, let's see if we can't get that one again. Just reeling. Gonna have to have a better hook than what we had for sure to actually peg one. It actually creates a pretty big wake behind it. It is a Colorado blade, but it's a pretty small Colorado blade. Creates a little bit of a bubble trail too. I don't know about this thing. I might have slept on this a little bit. All right, last one, then we'll get into the kayak. Nothing. All right, let's go see if we can't catch a couple. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can't end up with one. I don't think she floats anymore. Yeah, I don't think she does, which is not good. There it goes to the top. Might be a retrieving lure at this point in time. I tried to get as much water out of it as I could, but yep, she sinks, which is not good. See if we can't get a little bit. There's a little bit of water in there. There. Let's see if that does any better. It's like the perfect jerkbait right now. Just absolutely perfectly neutral. So that's not good. I assume if they would have taken out the swivel in the front, it would have saved a little bit of weight. Probably could have done a little bit better staying on top. We can still fish in the lily pads though. I don't know that we're going to get a fish out of here, but I guess that's one benefit of the kayak, is that we can go get them, or try to at least. So I think she's just going to be a retrieving bait now, which I'm sure a fish will still bite on that. Might be a little bit more difficult. We do have the rat that we had used in a previous video too, so might end up throwing that on if fish don't seem to be super aggressive. Got him. Watched him wake on over towards it and paused it and just sat there. We got one. And we were actually able to hook him. Not a bad one, not a big one by any means, but look at that. On the little frog looking thing. Watched him wake on over to it, paused it, felt a little tap. Now, you'll have to just take my word for it, but we have actually caught two on this thing. I just didn't have my camera on for one, so. And he was much smaller than that one. It was probably about 7 inches, so. This definitely is a bait that I think is usable. I wish it floated. That's my only thing. As I wish it still floated. Because I think it could be much better if it did that. Alright. We traded out for the mouse. See if we can't catch something on this. This I like much more because you're able to fish a little bit slower. And I just trusted it a little bit more than the other one. With the water getting colder, I just don't think they want a lure moving quite as fast. There's already ones that are trying to get it. I think they're bluegill though, trying to bite the tail. Oh, or they were little bass. First cast. I think we just need something a little bit slower moving. Especially for the smaller bass. Alright. We fished here earlier, but did not have a bite, so historically I've done pretty well over here. So see if we can't catch. Oh, first cast. Popped it twice. Little bluegill, I assume. Nope. Got that one. Little guy. Number 4. Get him good. Multiple fish on this little mouse. I don't think it was quite a fair comparison, just because I think the fish are a little bit slower, but I think we could have caught many more on that other one if it had just stayed floating a little bit better. All right, starting to pick up. Let's see if we can't catch some more. Oh, I missed him. That was a bad hook set. Bad hook set. And I have to tighten that down a little bit. Oh, I ripped off the tail. These, I was talking last video about how indestructible these things were after how many fish, and it is incredibly stretchy, but apparently they do break. Got that one. Oh, that was a bluegill. That would have been cool. But that's probably why some of this tail got ripped off. Probably because that's all they're biting. Well, that's different. I think the last video, I think we'd caught some crappie on it, but bluegill's new. Get him. For a little bass. I think that's a little bass. Not a gill. Look at that. Oof. Skin hooked. Skin hooked. Little guy. I don't even know how he got hooked because it went like through and through the plastic. There's another one. This one's getting torn up pretty quick. The last one lasted forever, and I still have it. Just have the bigger hook through it. That's a gill. That's a gill. That is a gill. That is phenomenal. I don't even know how that's possible. Ow. I don't even know how you do that. A topwater mouse with an EWG for a bluegill. And that's the second one. I think the first one was a little bit bigger, but that's crazy. Let me get them unhooked real quick. Oh, there we go. These bluegill are aggressive in here, and I don't know if that's just unique to these or what, but bluegill can most certainly eat minnows, but I've never had as many bluegill eat minnows as I have in this pond for whatever reason. But there we go. Let's keep fishing till dark, see if we can't get some more. I'm still waiting for a decent sized one though. There's a little bluegill or something. Or a bass. I assume that's a bass. It's a bluegill, it should be a good one. That's a bluegill again. I mean, it is a good one. That's just absolutely absurd. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why they're so hyper aggressive in this little pond, but they are. Can we lip them? Barely. That's probably a, what? Probably a little bit over 8, 8 1/4. Not a big one, but I just don't know why they are so aggressive, but they are. There we go. That's got to be a bass. Is he still on? Or did we lose him? Oh, we lost him. Lost him in the lily pads. There's one. That might be the last one of tonight. It's getting kind of dark. Hit it almost as soon as I hit the water. Well, that's about it for today. As far as this bait goes, I had high hopes for it when we first started fishing with it, that it was topwater, and it kind of is, but you know, I think just the fact that we weren't able to fish it really, really slowly kind of worked in our detriment. So if you're looking for a bait that moves quickly on the topwater, is almost similar to like a you know, finesse buzz bait or something like that, absolutely, I think it would be, you know, wonderful for that. But tonight they didn't want that. They wanted something much slower. These little critters from Timico or however you say it, I absolutely love these things. I will definitely buy some more of them, and probably in some of the different sizes. But for a finesse bait, the fish seem to love it. I don't know how, but we caught crappie on this thing. We caught bass, bluegill, I mean, everything under the sun. And up until just tonight, these things were basically indestructible. I mean, I don't understand how a bluegill or whatever pulled that off, but it did nevertheless. So but the water's starting to get a little bit cooler, so I don't know how much more topwater we're going to be fishing. We'll probably be switching on over to some moving baits and some slower action baits. But if you guys like the finesse videos, by all means, go ahead and comment that down in the comment section below. And as always, if you guys like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, and if you want to see more videos like it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be greatly appreciated also. Till the next one.